Welcome back, warriors of the mind. Most people think power is about domination, forcing outcomes, controlling others, or building influence. But Niccolò Machiavelli understood a truth far more dangerous. All real power begins with thought. Because once your mind cannot be bent, nothing else can bend you. And when no one can control you, you quietly start to control everything around you. Look at the world around you. It isn't ruled by the kind-hearted or the strongest. It's ruled by the strategic, the visionaries, the ones who think 10 steps ahead while everyone else reacts to what's already happened. History doesn't remember those who merely survived. It remembers the thinkers who calculated survival itself. Muscles tire, beauty fades, charm evaporates, but strategy is immortal. Those who rise above chaos are not louder, they are sharper. They don't chase attention, they analyze it. They don't drown in emotion, they observe it. While the masses are consumed by impulse, the intelligent stay still long enough to see the truth hidden beneath the noise. Because when the rest of the world panics, the strategist quietly executes. Machiavelli once wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." He was pointing to something profound. Intelligence isn't about collecting knowledge. It's about acting before others even realize there's a move to make. Real intelligence is speed, clarity, and foresight combined into one weapon. And that kind of power can't be stolen, copied, or faked. It's internal. It's trained. You either forge it, or you spend your life being ruled by those who did. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. Your brain has been programmed for weakness. You've been conditioned to seek comfort, avoid pressure, and numb your focus with endless distraction. You scroll, you argue, you react, and then you wonder why life feels out of your control. It's not fate, it's design. Because the more distracted you become, the less dangerous your mind is. But imagine this: what if you could retrain your brain to process 10 times faster? What if you could read people like transparent glass, sense motives before they're spoken, and predict the future patterns of human behavior? That's not fantasy. It's a system, what I call cognitive edge conditioning. A mental discipline designed to transform your brain into an instrument of precision, focus, and power. This isn't about motivation or positive thinking. It's about mental evolution, the process of making your intellect your most lethal weapon. When your mind grows stronger than your emotions, you stop reacting and start ruling. You don't get controlled by fear or manipulation, you rise above it. The real battlefield has never been outside of you. It's in your head. And the moment you conquer that, the world becomes your board. Before we go deeper, drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is my power. 1. Intelligence is the real power. True power has nothing to do with dominance, it's about comprehension. When your awareness surpasses your surroundings, you don't chase control. You command it naturally. The intelligent don't seek validation through volume or confrontation. Their silence carries more weight than others' shouts. Intelligence is not simply knowledge, it's vision. It's the rare ability to perceive beyond emotion and illusion, to see how reality actually functions. When you understand what drives people, their fears, desires, and weaknesses, you move through life like a grandmaster among amateurs. Most people waste energy performing strength. They want to appear powerful instead of becoming it. Meanwhile, the intelligent remain quiet, studying patterns, anticipating outcomes. They understand that true power never announces itself, calculates, positions. It moves with precision. Because when you can anticipate what's coming, you control it before it arrives. That's why Machiavelli warned, there is no better defense against flattery than to show men that truth does not offend you. He wasn't just promoting honesty, he was revealing a mindset. The superior mind cannot be manipulated by emotion because it values truth more than comfort. A strong mind doesn't need approval. It seeks accuracy. And that's what makes it truly dangerous. An intelligent mind isn't ruled by ego, it's ruled by awareness. It doesn't break under criticism. It dissects it. Every insult becomes insight. Every failure becomes a formula. Every betrayal becomes a lesson. The intelligent use every wound as data data for self-mastery. This is why thinkers are feared. The manipulator can deceive emotions, but not logic. You can trick someone who feels too much, but you cannot fool someone who observes everything. When you train your cognition, you become untouchable, not because you know everything, but because nothing surprises you anymore. Every move becomes deliberate, every silence strategic, every interaction a test. And this is what separates thinkers from followers. The intelligent move quietly like shadows. They operate with intention, not impulse. They understand timing, perception, and psychology. They can control a room without raising their voice, redirect conflict without confrontation, and gain influence without force. Because intelligence creates leverage, and leverage creates freedom. Once your mind understands systems, how people, incentives, and structures operate, you stop being a pawn. You become the player designing the board. That's when life bends toward your will. Not because you manipulate others, but because you have mastered yourself. Intelligence, at its core, is discipline in disguise. It's the patience to pause when others panic, to analyze when others react, and to move only when the outcome is inevitable. The intelligent see opportunity where others see threat. They find stillness in storms. They never let emotion steer the wheel, because emotion clouds, but logic clarifies. That's why thinkers can remain calm while the world burns. They've trained themselves to disconnect from the noise of feeling and connect to the rhythm of truth. The fool speaks just to be heard. The intelligent speak to direct. The fool reacts to threat. The intelligent designs it. And when the intelligent act, it's not chaos, it's strategy. Every decision, every emotion, every silence. It's either sharpening or dulling your mind. Guard it like a fortress, because your mind is your empire. Strengthen it daily. Challenge it. Expose it to pressure. Study not for comfort, but for clarity. Once you learn to think like no one else, you'll never again be treated like everyone else. Machiavelli once warned, a man who wishes to act entirely by virtue will soon meet destruction among so much that is evil. He wasn't telling you to be ruthless. He was reminding you to be wise. Because intelligence isn't purity. It's survival. And those who survive the longest are those who think the deepest. Before we continue, I want you to drop this new affirmation below. My intelligence is my weapon. 2. The system of cognitive edge conditioning ***. Now let's talk about the method, the mental framework that turns ordinary thought into strategic supremacy. I call it cognitive edge conditioning, a 6-phase system designed to sharpen your perception, amplify focus under stress, and give you an advantage in every mental battle. When you train your brain deliberately, you transform it from a passive receiver into an active strategist. You start to think faster, clearer, and deeper, until manipulation no longer works on you. Your intelligence becomes your armor, and your foresight becomes your weapon. Step 1. Create cognitive tension. Comfort is the silent killer of brilliance. The brain only grows through friction, through problems, puzzles, and pressure. When you seek constant ease, you starve your intellect. But when you deliberately place your mind in difficulty, it adapts. It evolves. It sharpens. Think of it like forging a blade. Fire doesn't destroy steel, it defines it. Pressure doesn't break the mind, it refines it. Step 2. Observe before you respond. Most people waste their power by reacting instantly. Observation is where intelligence is born. Watch people longer than they expect you to. Listen without responding. Every silence gathers data. Every second of patience multiplies clarity. Step 3. Train emotional immunity. Detach emotion from decision. When your emotions run the show, manipulation walks right in. Discipline your feelings. Don't suppress them, but control their direction. Anger can fuel focus. Pain can sharpen logic, but only if you rule them. Step 4. Build predictive thinking. The mind trained in patterns can forecast outcomes before they happen. Study cause and effect in your daily life. Watch what choices lead to what consequences, in others and in yourself. Over time, your mind will start to predict outcomes intuitively. That's not luck, that's pattern mastery. Step 5. Sharpen the edges of focus. Your attention is the currency of power. Spend it wisely. Focus is more dangerous than strength because it collapses chaos into clarity. Eliminate distractions like they're enemies because they are. Step 6. Apply strategic detachment. Sometimes winning means not moving at all. Detachment is the art of stepping back while everyone else burns their energy. The more emotion people waste, the more power they lose. The more still you remain, the more power you gain. When you master these 6 principles, your cognition transforms. You start seeing the world differently, in systems, not stories. Every reaction becomes predictable. Every motive becomes visible. You no longer walk into manipulation, you walk around it. This is the birth of mental supremacy, the ability to command without force, to influence without speaking, and to win without war. Your brain is your greatest weapon, but only if you train it like one. So from this moment, challenge it, shape it, push it, because once your mind becomes unbreakable, everything else follows. And remember this, a controlled mind doesn't chase power, it becomes it. If you truly want to sharpen your mind, you must manufacture friction within your daily existence until mental precision becomes instinctive, not optional. A sharp intellect isn't forged in ease, it's sculpted in resistance. Cognitive tension isn't about suffering for vanity. It's about creating deliberate strain that compels the brain to evolve. Pressure, when engineered correctly, is the architect of higher intelligence. It forces your mind to build new neural routes, faster connections, and brutal clarity under uncertainty. Start by reshaping your daily environment into a mental training ground, one that constantly asks more of you than you believe you can deliver. Fill your schedule with challenges that demand depth of focus. Enter conversations with people who can intellectually overpower you. Read the kind of ideas that unsettle your comfort and question your assumptions. Structure short, intense intervals where distraction is impossible and where the stakes, even if small, feel real. This is not punishment, it's progression. The human brain behaves much like a muscle. Left idle, it weakens. Exposed to difficulty, it expands. Growth begins where certainty ends. If you're not occasionally frustrated, you're not evolving. Seek challenges that don't have quick solutions. Invite difficulty that forces deeper reasoning. Have discussions that expose your blind spots instead of seeking those that flatter your existing beliefs. Place yourself in situations where your reasoning directly determines the outcome. Small bets, real stakes, controlled risk. Then analyze what each victory or mistake reveals about your cognitive patterns. Don't let your brain exist in predictable routines. Monotony kills agility. Replace the easy with the complex. Choose routes that require awareness. Learn something with structure and friction. A new language, a new system, a skill that demands precision. Debate an idea you're unsure about, not to win, but to stretch your thinking. Every act of novelty creates a microfracture in the mind, and when that fracture heals, it leaves behind stronger neural architecture. But remember, pressure without reflection is chaos. You must harvest the lessons from every strain. Document what happens under stress. Journal your emotional spikes. List the mistakes that keep recurring, and note the patterns that emerge. Each reflection transforms raw discomfort into insight. The goal isn't spectacle, it's structured strain. These microtests, repeated daily, cultivate adaptability. You're not chasing stress. You're learning to function fluently within it. Build rituals that simulate adversity so your brain learns to navigate tension as naturally as breathing. Expose yourself to cold for a few seconds each morning, not to suffer, but to train calmness within shock. Practice meditation, not for serenity, but to detect the first flicker of panic and choose your response before instinct chooses it for you. Engage in timed problem-solving sessions that compress decision-making windows. Speak to unfamiliar audiences. Confront small social fears. Practice unreadability. Control what you reveal and when. These exercises are not optional. They are mental drills. Each one expands your cognitive bandwidth and tightens your control over impulse. But remember, intensity without awareness leads to burnout, not brilliance. Growth requires discomfort, not destruction. If you feel your focus collapsing, Reduce the quantity of challenges but raise their quality. Precision beats chaos. 5 deliberate challenges executed with reflection will outperform 50 random stressors that leave you numb. Over time, your ability to hold tension becomes a strategic resource. You develop psychological gravity, the capacity to stay composed when others disintegrate. Where most panic, you analyze. Where others freeze, you execute. That equilibrium under fire, that calm amid collapse, is the highest form of leverage. So, architect a life that demands more from you than you initially believe possible. Convert every ounce of pressure into data, every stressor into skill. Refuse the seduction of comfort that dulls your vision. You are not conditioning your mind to endure mediocrity, you are engineering it to transcend it. Machiavelli once declared, "He who desires constant success must adapt his conduct with the times." That's the essence of mental evolution, continuous recalibration. Repeat this affirmation to anchor it. I embrace resistance. Step 2. Master predictive thinking ***. Prediction is the true currency of intelligence. Those who can foresee motion of people, systems, and circumstance quietly dominate every arena they enter. They don't fight chaos. They anticipate it. To master predictive thinking, you must develop more than observation. You must cultivate structured foresight, the discipline of turning uncertainty into calculated expectation. Begin by decoding the algorithms of human behavior. Notice what people repeat, their emotional triggers, verbal cues, and consistent reactions. Observe the habits that shape their choices. Each repetition is a breadcrumb pointing toward predictability. Record these observations not with judgment but with precision. Then simulate, mentally test how these patterns would evolve under stress, under praise, or under scarcity. This mental rehearsal transforms random perception into strategic foresight. An intelligent mind doesn't wait for events to unfold. It positions itself before they arrive. Study your own decisions too. Which impulses dominate you? Which assumptions mislead you? Which reactions betray your logic? Predictive intelligence is not just external awareness, it's internal refinement. You must model potential outcomes inside your head before reality presents them outside. Visualize conversations before they occur. Rehearse objections before they arise. Design your responses before you're forced to react. The brain, trained this way, becomes hypersensitive to the subtlest signals. The tone that shifts slightly, the delay in a message, the glance that lingers a fraction too long. These microdetails betray intention long before words confirm it. Expand this awareness beyond individuals. Everything, economies, social systems, weather of opinion, even digital trends, operates through patterns. Learn to read those patterns. Where others see random noise, you must see early signals. The small deviations that forecast large transformations. Keep a ledger of outcomes, your personal database of prediction and consequence. Write down what you expected, what occurred, and why. Each failure refines accuracy. Each success strengthens intuition. This is not guesswork, it's iterative intelligence. The more you analyze outcomes, the less life surprises you. Every mistake becomes an adjustment. Every pattern recognized becomes a form of leverage. Eventually, you reach a level where you no longer react to circumstances, you construct them. This is the essence of strategic foresight, acting not because events force your hand, but because you've already set the board before the game begins. However, predictive mastery demands emotional neutrality. Expectation must never be contaminated by desire. You cannot foresee clearly if hope or fear distorts your lens. Objectivity is your weapon. Remain emotionally uninvested in the outcome while being intellectually committed to the process. This neutrality is what keeps you steady while others drown in their biases. It allows you to assess reality without panic, to respond with strategy instead of reflex. Every event, every argument, every opportunity, train your mind to ask, what happens next? Then imagine 3 alternate scenarios and 3 possible responses for each. At first, this will feel mechanical, but soon, your mind will start doing it automatically. You'll begin to notice probabilities before possibilities. You'll feel patterns unfolding like clockwork. The brain becomes a living simulation, constantly testing futures and refining the present. That's when intelligence stops being reactive and becomes architectural. You're no longer guessing outcomes, you're engineering them. To strengthen this ability, expand your exposure. Study different disciplines: psychology, geopolitics, negotiation, systems theory, game design. Every field reveals its own set of repeating mechanisms. The broader your understanding of patterns, the more precise your predictions become. Yet the most dangerous predictor is the one who also predicts themselves. Know your own weaknesses so thoroughly that no manipulator can weaponize them. Recognize the triggers that cloud your reason: pride, urgency, validation. Anticipate your emotional reactions before they hijack your logic. In doing so, you neutralize one of the greatest threats to intelligence: self-deception. Remember, predictive thinking isn't about control. It's about clarity. You're not bending the future. You're removing its fog. Those who master foresight operate from an elevated plane of calm power. While the majority drown in immediacy, they glide through it, already knowing where each wave will break. And that is the highest form of freedom, to act, not out of necessity, but out of design. The truly intelligent don't wait for opportunity. They engineer probability. They live with a sense of quiet inevitability because they've rehearsed the invisible moves that lead to visible success. Train this ability relentlessly. After every conversation, every project, every day, review what you anticipated and what blindsided you. Extract lessons until accuracy becomes instinct. When the world erupts in uncertainty, you'll already be positioned in stability. When others wonder what happens next, you'll already be 3 moves ahead. That is predictive mastery, the intellect's most silent form of dominance. When thinking becomes anticipatory, intelligence becomes unassailable. Power isn't loud, it's silent precision. And those who understand the rhythm of the unseen always rule the visible. If you wish to command the future, don't just react to life. Anticipate its star. True strength doesn't come from raw intelligence, but from insight so refined that surprises cease to exist. When you can foresee what others can't even imagine, control becomes effortless. You move like the wind, unnoticed, yet unavoidable. You stop being a participant in the game and become its designer, the quiet force shaping outcomes from behind the curtain. Machiavelli once observed that people judge through appearances, not truth. Everyone has eyes, but few possess the ability to see. That's why the visionary always leads the crowd blinded by illusion. Drop this in the comments. I foresee every move, because prediction isn't magic. It's the highest form of awareness. Step 3. The art of mental agility ***. Rigidity is death for the modern mind. Flexibility is its weapon. Mental agility isn't about knowing everything. It's about adapting faster than anyone else. It's the art of bending under pressure without breaking, of shifting direction with speed while retaining complete control. A flexible thinker doesn't collapse when faced with uncertainty. They dance with it. To cultivate this, you must train your brain to move. Force it into uncomfortable terrain where rapid adaptation becomes natural. Put yourself in debates that test your beliefs. Solve problems with limited data. Engage in challenges where hesitation costs progress. Each scenario becomes a dojo for mental flexibility. Understand this: agility isn't confusion, and adaptability isn't indecision. They are refined forms of precision. The ability to alter strategy mid-motion without losing purpose is the mark of a sharp mind. Every strong mind must learn the discipline of fluidity. To change without losing direction, to evolve without losing identity. Start asking the questions most people avoid. What if the opposite were true? What if the rulebook itself is flawed? This simple act rewires your thinking. It tears apart lazy assumptions and forces your brain to craft fresh pathways. Learn to hold multiple solutions at once. Weigh each in real time so when reality shifts, and it will, you don't freeze. You flow. The agile thinker learns to detach emotion from decision. Frustration, fear, and ego become signals, not chains. People who cling to one mental model become predictable, and predictable people are easy to control. But the mind that moves like water cannot be trapped. Speed is another pillar of agility. The faster your cognition, the fewer openings exist for manipulation. Practice timed problem solving. Simulate unexpected crises. Engage your mind in fast decision environments where overthinking is fatal. This forges a reflexive sharpness that no slow thinker can match. Yet remember, speed without clarity is chaos. Your agility must be rooted in both creativity and logic. Imagination to find paths unseen, and reason to make them work. The mind that dances between both becomes unstoppable. When you train your flexibility, every challenge becomes a sparring partner. Every unexpected twist becomes a test of your range. Eventually, no one can pin you down, no one can predict your rhythm. You become a variable, ever-shifting, yet always in control. Machiavelli once said, "He who is prudent and waits for an unprepared enemy will always prevail." The agile mind lives by that rule. Drop this in the comments. My mind bends, never breaks. Step 4. Rule through unpredictability ***. Predictability is the silent assassin of power. Once people can anticipate your moves, you've already lost half the battle. To dominate the field, you must become unreadable, a mystery no one can fully map. Controlled unpredictability is not chaos, it's art. It's the deliberate distortion of patterns, the calculated ambiguity that keeps others guessing. Start by breaking your own habits. Change your schedule, alter your routines, and swap your usual responses. Make your behavior a labyrinth with no visible center. The goal is not confusion, it's psychological advantage. When people can't predict your next move, they hesitate. And hesitation gives you leverage. You create uncertainty without saying a word. Even silence becomes strategy. Be economical with your words. Share intentions selectively. Let others fill in the blanks with their assumptions, because assumptions are vulnerabilities you can use. Sometimes reveal predictable behavior just long enough to lull your observers into comfort, then shift course without warning. This keeps your opponents eternally one step behind. Remember, unpredictability must never become randomness. It's not about erratic behavior, it's about precision in misdirection. Each unexpected move should serve a purpose. Use false trails, sudden reversals, and calculated pauses to disorient those trying to read you. In negotiation, hint at one motive while pursuing another. In conversation, reveal part of the truth, never the entire structure. People trust patterns. Break theirs and you break their confidence. When executed well, unpredictability becomes your armor, your invisibility cloak. Socially, become an enigma. Express emotion sparingly. Modulate tone and energy so that no one can accurately gauge your mood or motive. Unreadability is psychological power. It forces others to act reactively while you move with intent. Decision-making. 2. Must defy expectation. Avoid obvious choices. Shift tactics often. Surprise is a weapon that disarms resistance faster than force ever could. When others rely on familiarity, you move through creativity. When they expect compliance, you deliver strategy. Over time, unpredictability becomes second nature. No one can manipulate what they cannot measure. No one can corner what doesn't stand still. Machiavelli once wrote, "A ruler should not keep faith when doing so harms his interests." He meant, loyalty to predictability is a weakness. Drop this in the comments. I am strategically unpredictable. Step 5. Commanding emotional intelligence. Power over others begins with power over self. Emotional intelligence is the invisible currency of influence. While the ordinary depend on force or charm, the wise manipulate reality by mastering emotion, both theirs and others. It starts with awareness. Before you can rule a room, you must first rule your reactions. Learn to detect the earliest tremor of anger, fear, or desire before it manifests. Every emotion carries information. Translate it, don't obey it. Next, turn your gaze outward. Study people not for what they say, but for how they reveal. Every tone shift, every glance, every hesitation is a breadcrumb to the truth beneath the surface. The emotionally intelligent don't just hear, they read. But remember, mastery isn't suppression. You don't bury emotions. You shape them. You project calm when chaos surrounds you. You radiate warmth when influence is needed. You remain detached when manipulation is near. Emotion becomes tool, not torment. Influence requires subtlety. A nod, a pause, or a single phrase can tilt decisions in your favor without others realizing why. People want to feel understood more than they want to be right. Provide that illusion and they follow your lead. At the same time, you must armor yourself from others' emotional weapons. The stronger your regulation, the weaker their manipulation. Engage in difficult conversations. Practice staying calm during tension. Place yourself in environments that provoke emotion and use them to practice control. Each exposure strengthens your composure until nothing rattles your center. Emotional intelligence also refines timing. The wisdom to know when to act, when to wait, and when to remain silent. These micro-decisions separate influence from impulsiveness. The more you master emotional rhythm, the more invisible your power becomes. Combine your emotional awareness with predictive logic. Every reaction becomes data, every facial twitch a signal, every hesitation a potential advantage. You stop reacting to emotion and start orchestrating it. Machiavelli once said, "He who masters himself will command others." Drop this in the comments. I command my emotions. Step 6, the apex thinker. To become the apex thinker is not to know everything, but to govern everything you know. This is not a title. It's a mental state where calculation replaces chaos, and foresight replaces reaction. The apex thinker no longer responds to the world. He engineers it. At this level, every action is intentional. You design your environment. You mold circumstances to align with your advantage. You predict the pattern, then rewrite it. Chaos becomes a tool, not a threat. Complexity becomes a playground, not a puzzle. Ordinary minds drown in emotion, distraction, and noise, but the apex thinker remains still, composed, and devastatingly accurate. He does not chase control, he embodies it. Pressure doesn't break him, it polishes him. To reach this height, integrate every discipline. Cognitive tension, predictive mastery, flexibility, strategic unpredictability, and emotional control. When these merge, your cognition becomes unstoppable. Decision-making becomes instant. Foresight replaces fear. You become unreadable, both a mystery and a mirror. People sense your dominance but can't locate its source. Your silence speaks louder than their explanations. You guide outcomes without visible effort. The apex thinker thrives under pressure because adversity becomes data. Every failure refines, every betrayal instructs. Power doesn't come from comfort, it comes from clarity under fire. Knowledge, when sharpened by discipline, becomes foresight. And foresight, when fused with courage, becomes destiny. This is how thinkers become kings, by bending uncertainty into certainty through sheer mental command. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But fear here doesn't mean cruelty. It means respect earned through precision and unpredictability. Now is your moment. The theories you've learned, cognitive edge, foresight, adaptability, deception, and control, are not words. They are weapons. Tools that can transform your mind into an empire no one can invade. Discipline is your gatekeeper. Remove distractions like poison. Time is leverage, don't waste it. Surround yourself with challenge, not comfort. Let tension refine your awareness. Let chaos test your strategy. Every second you act deliberately, you grow untouchable. Remember this, power unused decays, and intelligence unexpressed is invisible. Apply, execute, think faster, feel deeper, and move before others even realize there's a game being played. Your mind is not merely a tool, it's your kingdom. Guard it fiercely, sharpen it daily, and wield it without mercy. Machiavelli once said, "He who masters himself, masters others." Drop your final affirmation in the comments. My mind commands destiny.